It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
141 is what they put on the clock, and here goes Bijan Robinson. 30, 35, 40, midfield. It's a foot race. Robinson 30, 15, 10, 5, house call. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. He just went 93. Here's Stafford now looking, going to throw down the far side. Did Terrell intercept it? No, he broke it up. It won't matter. Guess what? Ball game is over in Atlanta. The Falcons 27 and the Rams 24. You know what we're doing tonight again? Stacking wins.
Is there any scenario that you can imagine where you're not back as the coach next year?
I think I'm coming back, right? If they'll have me back, I'll come back. You never know in this business, Matt. So that's a tough one, but I plan on it. Yeah.
That's Chiefs head coach Andy Reid saying he plans to return next season. There had been speculation the soon-to-be 68-year-old could retire after the Chiefs' playoff streak was snapped. They've been to 10 straight playoffs, won 9 straight divisions, on and on. But he says he wants to come back next year and try again.
Well, I mean, if that kid over in Ann Arbor can keep coaching, why can't I?
The Atlanta Falcons built a 21-0 first-half lead. Trade field goals. They're up 24-3 in the third. And the Rams scored 3 touchdowns and tied it up. But a 51-yard field goal gives the Falcons the 27-24 win. Stacking wins, PK. Are we all sick and tired of that? Stacking whatever. Recruits, days, wins, blah, blah, blah.
No, as long as you put in the word paychecks.
Stacking paychecks is always good.
Yes, I like that.
That's your favorite? Of all the stacks in life. Smokestacks.
That's what I want to stack.
Yeah. Stacked paychecks.
Right. Or birdies, pars.
Okay. A list of acceptable things.
Yeah.
Stacking birdies.
Right.
So the Rams were 9-2. The Rams looked like they might be building towards being the consensus favorite to win the Super Bowl, but they've lost 3 of the last 5 games. Now, they did sit some guys out last night, and some of those guys, maybe it was a choice, and maybe some of those guys had to be out, but can be back for the playoffs. A couple of tackles, a guard, tight end, corner, safety. There's guys all over the roster. You like the Rams anymore, anybody else, or just stick around for January and see how it plays out? It looks wide open.
It does look wide open for me. I don't like the Rams any more or any less based on what I saw last night. So I'm not really worried about that. I like them. They've got a prolific offense, and they can do a lot of different things on you to cause you some issues. I have no idea if they're going to be in the Super Bowl, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to be watching for sure. There's some pretty good teams. Are there great teams? I'm not sure, but it doesn't need to be. All you need to be is the last team standing. That's what really matters. I mean, the New York Giants, when Eli Manning was winning Super Bowls with them, I don't think they were ever, oh, wow, they were the dominant team, the team to beat, at least even in the NFC, let alone the entire league.
Right.
But who cares?
Yeah, they played wildly entertaining games. They were able to win some squeakers, and they won it, and it was entertaining. Right. And the Rams will... they're sitting in the 6th spot right now, so they'll probably open the playoffs at Philly or at Chicago, and that looks like a pretty good matchup right out of the gate.
Yeah, we'll see.
Rams coach Sean McVay said he will not rest his starters this coming weekend, while Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh said he plans to rest his starters against Denver. Chargers can't win the division. Denver's going to win the AFC West. Chargers will be a playoff, and Harbaugh would rather be healthy than worry about whether they're seeded 5, 6, or 7. All those things seem to be in play right now. So,
well, I think that's the situation. If he was going for something else that they could get, he would probably say, yeah, we're on. But since you can't, then this is the spin you take.
He can't get a home game, and so the road opponent just throw him in a hat.
Well, I don't even think he can get a home game if he gets a home game.
That's probably true, actually. Yeah. Yeah, if the Chargers were home against several of these teams, their fans would pack the place, and the Chargers would be listening to roars every time the other team did something.
Yeah, I think of all the places in the country, really, you can argue that LA is the biggest melting pot that we have.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
BYU backup quarterback McKay Hillstead will reportedly enter his name into the NCAA transfer portal. If he wants to play PK, that would seem to be a logical thing to do. Wasn't a lot of playing time to be had.
No, maybe he should look at going back to Utah State.
That job will be open. What will they do in the transfer portal?
Right. Yeah.
Northwestern is hiring Chip Kelly as the Wildcats' new offensive coordinator. Everybody's got a different career arc. I'm not sure I saw him bouncing around as an offensive coordinator at the college level, 1 or 2 years here or there, but it seems like he's constantly on the move now.
Well, I think if you know Chip Kelly, he's made a lot of money, obviously, and I just don't think he likes the duties that go along with being a head coach.
Yeah.
He'd rather not have them. And for him, so these guys, it's like music. You look at country stars, and they frequently interact with what we would consider maybe more rock stars, and they appear on each other's albums and they like each other's music. I think for these coaches, for him, I don't know, there's a big difference between college and pro and what he has to do. The idea, and you can maybe even throw in high school for that matter, the idea is for them to coach ball. It's what they want to do. It's what they love doing. And he has this opportunity to do it. And to him, I don't know that it matters. And maybe he didn't have a bunch of offers and he doesn't want to wait around to see what's going to go down in the NFL. He got something here, new coach with Fitzgerald. That situation is, they're past that and all, and see what they can do there. So, yeah, why not?
Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman says he's going to stay at Notre Dame. He got a revamped deal. There was interest from multiple NFL teams. The Giants were the name that was really put out there, but he is coming back with a revamped deal. So leverage that NFL interest.
All right.
USC coach Lincoln Riley lays the blame for the interruption of the Trojans' rivalry with Notre Dame at the feet of the Fighting Irish, saying Notre Dame had said they would play USC anytime, anywhere, and Notre Dame reneged on the proposal from the Trojans for the next 2 years and set up a deal with BYU instead. They're going to point fingers. Will they ever play again?
The world will go on if they don't. And by now, we are so, what would be the way to say it, so used to these rivals going away. What's one more? It doesn't faze us that much. I don't think, at least for me. I thought, okay, you're not going to play. Well, there'll be another game that day. But it was a much bigger deal when I lived there, for sure.
Yep.
Than not living there. But it seems silly, but there's a million things that seem silly, and add it to the list. And what is 1 million one if I've already got a million?
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah Jazz.
The best teams in the league can make adjustments really fast. We've had situations in the past where we've needed to kind of regroup in between games because it's harder to see it in the game and make the adjustment. But I think the team has shown the last 2 nights that they are growing in that area. To win the second, third, and fourth quarters in this game tonight, I think it's a great sign.
Utah Jazz, there's Will Hardy, the head coach. The Jazz have won back-to-back games over the Pistons and Spurs. They've split their last 12, 6-6. And they've got the Boston Celtics at the Delta Center tonight. Can the Jazz keep it rolling? Do you want the Jazz to keep it rolling? I suppose is another question. But can they keep it rolling? And the Celtics, third in the East, obviously shorthanded without their star player, but nonetheless, third in the East. In the tightly bunched Eastern Conference, they're playing pretty well right now.
You speaking of Boston playing well or Jazz are playing well?
Both are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the East there. But the way I look at the Jazz, there's really not a team that I look at them and say, wow, they shouldn't have any shot to win this particular ball game. They've been blown out in a few, but here, coming home in front of the home crowd, should be energized with 2 nice wins. When you're at the games, the crowd seems to want them to win. The broadcasters want them to win, and obviously Will Hardy is coaching to win.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, I think that they have an opportunity to win. And yeah, I mean, they've got enough to win individual games. And that's all they're playing. And each game is literally that's it. It's one individual game. And I don't look at any team in the league that looks like, oh my gosh, they just are so much better than this team. There's many teams that are better, but so much more dominant. Particularly in the fickle nature of shooting. And if the Jazz can be hot and make shots, then they probably have a shot. I mean, that's something that they're going to have to do because right now with Kessler out, they don't really have an anchor defensively.
Listen to the game tonight, 6 o'clock with the pregame tip-off at 7. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Denver Nuggets star Nikola Jokic suffered a left knee injury, limped off just before halftime. He was down on the floor, obvious pain. He hyperextended the left knee. He's going to have further testing and imaging today to determine the extent of the injury, and I'm sure they'll be checking the ACL whenever you see a hyperextension like that. You wonder how that's doing, so we'll get an update on him. It didn't look good, PK. The Nuggets were concerned. Obviously, they should be. They lose to the Heat, 147-123. They've dropped 4 of their last 6 games. And now...
Yeah, it didn't look good, but it didn't look like it was a Joe Ingles situation when you knew immediately, at least not to me, and I'm not a doctor, so maybe I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I can recall Joe in that situation. Was it against Minnesota? I don't remember who it was against. But you knew, oh no, that's really, really bad. Here, the man was clearly in pain. Is it going to be long-term? Because if it's short-term, what doesn't really matter? If it's long-term, well, then it's an issue.
And obviously the Nuggets, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league, and he's a multiple-time MVP. So lose the game, and now we'll see about their star player. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
The University of Utah loses to the Washington Huskies 74-65 in Seattle. Had a lead at halftime, but Washington grinding them down in the second half, and Washington gets a comfortable win there. Now it's on to Big 12 conference play. And other leagues are tipping off as well. Utah Tech rolled SUU 80-66 in a WAC game. UVU won, and tonight Utah State's at Fresno State for a Mountain West Conference game. Scotty G will have the call starting at 6:30 with the pregame, 7 o'clock tip. That'll be on 1280 The Zone, while the Jazz are on 97.5 The Zone. Kansas coach Bill Self said star freshman guard Darren Peterson will not return to action until he's as close to 100% as possible. His family wants him fully healthy despite playing just 4 games. He's projected as one of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. We don't have a real good read on him, PK, but I guess it'll be a while before we get to see him.
Sure, but I don't think that matters to the NBA people. This is something that they just have to go through because there's some rule that says you have to be a year out. I mean, Kyrie Irving, if I remember, played 11 games in college because he was injured. And did he go number 1? I think he did.
He did.
So I don't really this kid has been scouted a million times over from the college perspective. And certainly, it's the NIL. Whoever paid him, you're going to get nothing for it if he doesn't come back. And the family's not going to have him wasted and have an opportunity to get injured again because this doesn't really matter. I mean, it's fun and all that, and you play to win and blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, once we get to April, who cares? It's about where he goes in the draft and how much money he makes there and what he can do at the NBA level. He's already been tabbed as a big-time draft pick. Whether he becomes a big-time player remains to be seen in the NBA. You never really know for sure, although I do think basketball, at least in the college ranks, I think basketball, the star system tends to be the most accurate. Football can be all over the place. 2 stars ends up being big-time stars, and 4 and 5 stars end up being nothing. I don't think that, and then that can happen in basketball too, but I think that it's more accurate. Now, how does that translate into the pro game? Because you don't really come into the pro game with stars in the manner that you do the college. You come in with a draft position, and we've seen draft picks, literally number 1, number 2, number 3, be Hall of Famers, and we've seen them be big-time nothing players.
Yeah.
So, but at the college, from high school to college, usually it's a little more accurate. From college to the pros, who knows? But I don't think even if he played any more, that would negatively impact someone's going to take him pretty doggone high. They've already decided that.
DJ, PK.
#golf.
Tiger Woods celebrating a birthday today, the big 5-0. He's now eligible to play on the Champions Tour. He is also recovering from another round of back surgery, and there's no timeline for a return to competitive golf. He's got the Golf League thing going on, and we can watch him there, laughing and yucking it up. Will we ever see him on the Champions Tour? Time will tell, I suppose.
I don't know what he's looking for, what he wants. To me, if he never played a competitive golf tournament again, so what?
It was an awesome run.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, right? And he can go be an ambassador for the game. And even if he wanted to try, I'd tell you, if he was on whatever tournament at the senior level, the place would be packed. and they would follow him. 95% of the gallery would be all over him if he should show up. And if he wants to do that, so be it, man. I mean, Father Time, we all know that. Plus the amount of surgeries and injuries. I mean, the list seems like it's a mile long. And he darn near died in a car crash over in the Palos Verdes Peninsula a few years ago. So to be able to walk around, you can consider that a new lease and a miracle and all that stuff. So whatever happens competitively, it really doesn't faze me, because the history mark that he has made on the game it's cemented, and it'll always be cemented. It'll always be one of the greatest.
There's nothing he's going to do on the Champions Tour to really change that. He is who he is.
But I mean, if he wants
Tiger.
to do it for fun, go ahead and do it.
If it's fun. If his body allows it, and we'll see.
Right.
Even he may not be able to answer that question right now. Will his body ever allow it? DJ and PK.
#NHL.
There goes Barrett Hayden burning down the far wing. He takes Adam Wilsby up against the wall. Puck in front. Gunther dangles and scores! Dylan Gunther puts Utah back in front. Well, there's a puck in front, and they score. It's Stamkos again. O'Reilly fed him out in front, and Nashville's in front for the first time here tonight. It's Stamkos' second goal in this period.
The Utah Mammoth did so many things right. They scored first. They were up 2-1 in the second. It was 2-2 going to the third. You heard Dylan Gunther put him in front 3-2 midway through the third period. It looked like things were going pretty good. And then Steven Stamkos scores on the power play. And then the goal you hear right there, 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. Nashville wins 4-3. We talked about it yesterday, PK. A team right behind them in the playoff race. They were 3 points back. Now they're only 1 back. Utah at home, coming off a 5-day layoff, and they couldn't hold on in the final 10 minutes. Pretty frustrating. It was right there.
And that's what Bear was talking about, the frustrating nature of it, and the players also, obviously, in the postgame. You look at that game, and, man, it's right there for the taking. But they just can't quite get over the hump, and they haven't been able to get quite over the hump consistently. And at this point now, as we're approaching midseason, I'm wondering, is this just who they are? The reality of the situation. And maybe they get cools back, as they say, as they call them, that could make a difference. But who's to say at that point somebody else doesn't go down? You never know how these things are going to play out. It's a physical game. It's a taxing game and all that stuff. And so injuries can take their toll. But they're there, but they're not quite there, if that makes sense.
Mike Folta, radio play-by-play voice of Utah Mammoth, will join us at 8 o'clock. The Mammoth will get on a plane tomorrow, and they will fly to the Big Apple, your former stomping grounds. They call it a 3-game road trip. They're just going to set up shop there, I suppose, and going to play the Islanders, play the Devils, and play the Rangers, and play every other day, January 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and then fly home. It's a 3-game roadie to New York.
Well, you can stay in one place, as you say, so it's not that bad.
Nope. In the tri-state area. Can unpack. We'll talk with Mike coming up at 8 o'clock. Isaiah Holt, publisher of Wolverine Wire and host of Locked On Wolverines at 8:30. The reception Kyle Whittingham is getting. Looks like he's already decided one of the coaches will be retaining on the staff. We'll get to that. Sean Callahan, publisher of Husker Online. We'll talk about the bowl game. There's a bowl game, PK. Talk to him at 9 o'clock. It's also a Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and we'll give away tickets at 8:30 and 9:30 this morning to see the Jazz and the Mavericks. You can see Cooper Flagg January 8th at the Delta Center. We'll do that coming up at 8:30. That's what's trending. It's brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. When we come back, the question of the day, hot takes or toast, is next.
Whirls around and down.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's time for hot takes or toast. The question of the morning, PK.
What?
It is overwhelming, but man, the people in the minority, they are pushing back hard. Our question of the morning, is Kyle Whittingham's legacy at Utah in danger if he pilfers coaches and players? More than 100 comments. So there's a lot of emotion about this. A lot of people are invested in this, and a lot of the answers are very simple. Michelle, no. Matt, no way. Ben, nope. Joe, nope. Brett, nope. Travis, nope. I mean, it's just, and then like 1 out of 10. Sam, yes. How can he say he gives a rat's behind about this school where he coached for 32 years if he decimates the program? Riddle me that. So I guess, if he decimates the program, how many key players would he have to take to decimate the program? We've seen the numbers out of Iowa State. It seems like it's overwhelming there with their coach, Matt Campbell, going to Penn State. They're losing starters left and right and depth as well. Well more than half the roster, maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of it.
Johnny Depp is going too?
Everybody's gone. It's unreal. Last person out, turn out the lights.
Well, what's the definition of decimation? Because it looked like that Utah decimated New Mexico last year. New Mexico had a soul-crushing situation. They won 5 games, which was the most they had won in 10 years when Bronco Mendenhall was there, and his way out of town, basically, he got tarred and feathered. And it was, oh my gosh, what an evil man he is. And then Jason Beck and Micah Simon come to Utah, and they take a receiver and a quarterback who certainly the quarterback and even the receiver for that matter made big time differences. And so it's looking like, oh my gosh, New Mexico had been decimated, except what do? They turn in their best season in well over a decade.
9-4, baby.
Yes.
9-3 with a bowl loss to Minnesota. That was a good game.
Which wasn't in overtime. Yeah. And so they beat, if they would have beat New Mexico or Minnesota, that meant they would have beat 2 Big Ten teams, because obviously they beat UC Los Angeles early in the year in the sparsely attended Rose Bowl, as we know is usually the case with that football team. And so what seemed to be at this time last year, all the possible things that would just make New Mexico languish again turned out not to be true. So we have to look at it in its entirety, which you really won't know for several weeks. And then you have to look at it in December. So we literally have to wait a year to see what level of decimation that would be. Now, suppose he just takes coaches and maybe a couple of players. I mean, Utah, the fan base that you're talking about, had no problem doing that to New Mexico. Well, now somebody's going to do it to you, and all of a sudden the guy who's doing it is a bum. And how can he say that this university means anything to him? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I mean, the situations in college sports are archaic right now, and there's not a whole sense of logic and rules and regulations, and Baylor there getting a player and, drafted in basketball. Well, then stop me, man. Prevent me from doing it. But if you're not going to prevent me from doing it, if I'm not going to get a speeding ticket and I got to get from point A to point B in a hurry, I'm probably going to speed if there's no fear of consequence. So we have to look at the rules as opposed to look at the individuals.
John, no, he's an icon for U of U football. I'm grateful for what he did for the program, and that he did it for so long. He could have left a long time ago. I'm sure he's had many offers over the years. Any smart coach would do what it takes to be successful at their next school, including taking coaches and players with them. Look at John embracing the present and the future. Yep. If you move on, you take coaches and players, that's the way it goes. John's not here to live in 2015. He's living in 2025 just fine.
Yeah, my sense is certainly coaches would be on the way. There's no doubt about that. And they've got their bowl game tomorrow, and then their season will be officially over. Kyle, in his press conference, did acknowledge that there's plenty of coaches that he's interested in who are still coaching. He even threw the word playoff, meaning that there are playoff teams that have coaches that he would be interested in. And so let those guys at this point anyway, continue to do it. Now, I think that once that ends, they'll move quickly because the portal does open this weekend. And so with that in mind, you need to get after it. And there was conversation there. The running back coach is going to stay. And he did say 2 to 3. And I think that's exactly what will happen because he's one of these guys, when he says stuff like that,
it matters.
Means that, yeah. And so he's not just going to throw out 2 to 3 and think, wake up tomorrow. Okay, what do I do? No, he's already got ideas, contact, communications, and all that stuff have already been made. They're just waiting. So at least there is some form of respectability. At this point, it's not early December or even at the end of November sometimes when they make these coaching changes. Here, this was one that we would consider would be a little later in the cycle. And who knows, there probably still could be more to come in this coaching cycle, which extends because of the NFL, and you never know what's going to happen. It goes a little longer, but at this point you can wait a few days and then away you go. And then two, it goes to the old Ben Olsen is not coming back after his mission. Oh my gosh, for BYU. Well, then they got Max Hall. So if you get adequate or more than adequate replacements, who really cares of an individual leaving, right? And it turned out Max Hall was a 3-year starter, and I believe he left BYU as the winningest all-time quarterback in terms of total number of wins. And it seemed like a blow that Ben Olsen wasn't going to come back. Unfortunately for Ben, he had a ton of injuries when he moved on, and it really sucks for that young man. Who knows? He could have been really, really good, but his body didn't allow it. And with Max Hall came in there, and he was good. And so what seemed like a blow at the time turned out to not really be that big of a deal.
Brian says, this is a comment we never get. This is a good question. Wow. People don't compliment the question, PK. This is you're trolling, you're baiting. No, this is a good question. I would say that Kyle's earned the right to access his work product and staff if they choose to go. I think it'd be appropriate for Morgan to build his team and legacy and not be saddled with someone else's. I wish him both success.
I certainly wish them both success, too. There's no question about that. Kyle's would be more on a personal level because I don't think there's much individual, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I can't really profit from Michigan's success.
Michigan football is not going to carry our show day after day the way local teams will. Utah, BYU, even Utah State. Right. If they get on a roll.
So I want
Bronco,
them to win. Because it's proven that it is much better for business to have these teams win than to have them lose. And so with that in mind, even if I didn't have a personal relationship with Morgan Scalley, if he was just a complete and total stranger, I would still root for that program to win because it's good for business. Now, funny thing is here, man, you look at Utah, BYU, Weber, and Utah State. I know literally each of these coaches and have known each of these coaches for over 20 years.
It's crazy.
I have personal relationships with all of them.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. And I have become what I used to not like. thinking, oh, that old guy, man, he just knows these guys too much, right? Well, here I am. and now that they, with Care going to Weber, I will root my butt off for Weber. I have no problem saying that because I know the guy. And obviously we had him on. And he's dropping my wife's first name. They were cohorts for many years, side by side, right across the hall type of thing. And so with that in mind, I have extra reason. And I think that's okay. I think the audience accepts that as long as you come clean and say, this is the situation, rather than try to hide it. And I would encourage everybody to go read Gordon Monson's piece in the Salt Lake Tribune, because he was doing some stuff today on the quirkiness of Kyle Whittingham. He was saying, hey, all you Michigan people, here's some stuff, kind of oddball stuff to know about Kyle Whittingham. So he was looking for someone who might be able to provide insight on some of the oddball stuff. And yes, I spent an hour on the phone yesterday with Gordon Monson.
Yeah. Hope you get a little something for the effort there. He needs to buy you.
Well, I told him, I said, hey,
a round of golf.
You don't have to, you can put my name in it. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Kyle's gone and he's not coming back.
Yeah.
And so whatever is out of the bag doesn't matter. Or you can just keep my name out of it completely. It doesn't matter either way.
So give us one or two quirky things we don't know.
Oh, he wanted to do about the rock and roll stuff.
Oh, okay. Kyle and music.
Yeah, and you know, Kyle and I have had just probably 50 things that we've debated like brothers. No, this one's better. That one's better. There'll be one. The guy and I can't hide it anymore. We're very close in age. And I told him that when the Beatles made their debut on the Ed Sullivan Show, I mean, I was very young, but I was like 2 miles away. My grandmother and cousins and aunts and uncles lived in the city, as they call it back there, right? And so we were there. And because I have older sisters and they were way into it and they remember it vividly, I feel like I remembered it, right? And so I was telling them, yeah, I was just 2 miles away. And I remember I have at least foggy memories of I Want to Hold Your Hand. And he responds, and he's like 20 some days older than me. And he responds with, I remember it vividly. I remember it in detail. I'm saying, you do not. There's no way you remember it in detail. I do too. And you're full of crap. I am not. And then I drop, well, I knew of them first because I was living on the East Coast. You were living in California. So yours was tape delayed. Mine was live. So I got it first. I got it before you, buddy. And I said to my family, wow, this group is really going to make it big. And I called it right then and there.
He got it 3 hours later. Deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, I was snoozing. I'd already had my diaper changed and was fast asleep by the time you got exposed to them, buddy boy. So just little funny stuff like that. I haven't read the piece, but that's what he told me. And I talked to him for an hour and then he texted me later on. So stuff like that. But yeah, I want these dudes to win because it helps business. And then we got personal relationships with some of them and we'll see, man, as far as that goes. And now it's, you know, I talked to Scalley the other day and I said, hey, it's your time, brother. Your time has come. This is what you've waited for. This is what you've worked for. What you've done, all the things that you've done to this point in your life have led you to this point now where you are in charge. And I wish you big time success. And, you know, it's just a very brief little thing. Well, thanks. I appreciate it and so forth. And tomorrow we'll see, man. He gets an opportunity to get out there. As I said yesterday, I think you have to allow for some growing pains, but this could be a great thing for the University of Utah. How do we know that he's not going to be better? Like Yogi Roth said, in 20 years from now, we'll be saying what we said about Kyle, about Morgan. That would be awesome. I would love to. I'll be dead in 20 years, but nevertheless, we'll have that opportunity for those of you who are alive. Yak will be the grizzly old veteran who's got relationships with all these coaches in 20 years, right? Yak, look into our eyes, because when you look into our eyes, young man, that's what you'll see, the future right before you.
Oh, thank you. Sounds good.
This is what you're going to have to deal with. Bad news for you.
Here's what your future looks like. Have fun.
We are what you will become.
You will be hugging coaches in no time. Justin.
I've never hugged a coach on the field. I'm proud of that.
Oh, that's the one line you haven't crossed yet, huh? That's the one. Justin channels your one of your favorite coaches, Bill Parcells. Legacy is written in Kyle's record. If he wins at Michigan, it only magnifies it. You are what your record says you are. When you start stacking up more than 100 wins, what are you going to say? It's pretty much written at that point.
The one thing I'd throw in there, DJ, is what type of winning, because we all have no doubt that he'll win at Michigan. You've really got to screw it up not to win, right? I mean, all the advantages that you're going to have. So what is the definition? What is the acceptable definition of winning at Michigan? Because clearly the definition of winning at Michigan is different than it is in virtually every other place, right? They've had guys, when I see I'm talking about that type of program, not necessarily individually, who've won 9 games and be thought of, you got to go. We're done with you. We just saw with James Franklin, right? They're one of those types of programs. Well, he won at Penn State. Nobody would argue that, but yet he still got fired as soon as there was just the tiniest leak ever in the dam. You're gone. I mean, that's an unbelievable standard, but that's what those types of programs have. I don't think that situation was at Utah, because if it was, man, he may never have gotten into the Pac-12 to be able to win. He may have been fired in the Mountain West, and then when they have the 2 losing seasons in the second and third season in the Pac-12, he may have been gone. Now, that was one of Chris Hill's greatest jobs, is not firing him at that point. Right? You talk about moves that athletic directors make. I don't think Chris ever got enough credit for letting that play out.
Jim Harbaugh, and this is interesting because you always say this about Kyle, even in their best years, they were losing 3 or 4 games.
Uh-huh.
And Jim Harbaugh, 3, 4, 5 losses his first 6 years. They always had those losses. Now, he was a Michigan guy, right? Former quarterback, and they wanted him, and he had the success at Stanford. So maybe he gets a little more grace, and in the NFL. He gets a little more grace and a longer leash than Kyle, who did not play quarterback at Michigan. Harbaugh was flying at the end. He only lost 3 games his last 3 years, 40 wins, 3 losses, national title, and a couple semifinals. I don't know how many 10-3 Peach Bowl seasons Kyle gets, because to your point, that's not what Michigan wants or expects. They're coming off 9-3 this year, and you can argue, they lost 3 times to marquee teams that have built-in advantages the way they do. They lost to Oklahoma early, they lost at USC, and they lost to Ohio State. They didn't play Indiana, they didn't play Oregon, and they pretty much handled the Michigan State portion of their schedule. That's the bare minimum.
Sharon Moore, he might be in trouble. Now, we had no idea, at least I did, and I don't think most of us on our side of the country had any idea about all the other nonsense that went on, right? But I'm wondering if there was a decent portion of the Michigan fan base, we got to make a change here, man. Yeah, big deal. We beat whomever, the Purdue's of the world. And that's just, if Mike Folta's listening, that's why I threw that school out there, because he wants to talk about Purdue basketball. So they don't really care about that. In a way, Kyle is walking back to the future in a sense, in terms of when he was in the Mountain West, and did you beat BYU and did you beat TCU?
Right.
We already know you're going to beat the rest of the teams, right? What do you do against those programs? That's what's going to determine your level of success that season, because you're just way better than all those. U of U had risen to the point where we know if they're playing CSU, Wyoming, and so forth, they're going to win that game most likely. It's just a matter of by how much. And what is it against BYU, TCU? Those were the things. Well, that's basically at a much higher level, obviously, what he's going to have at Michigan.
Brady Hoke lasted 4 years. And he went 31-20. 4 years gone at 31-20.
That's not good enough.
Rich Rodriguez only lasted 3 years. He went 15-22.
Ooh.
I know, right?
With no connections to the program.
No, and he was 6-18 in the Big Ten.
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me?
That's different era there, right? You've got to recruit and build and get your guys and build it up, and now you got the transfer portal, and you can plug holes, reload, and go. So it's a different era, but it shows you where the standard is.
Yeah, it's extremely high, and you look at Kyle's record, and compared to Hoke and Rich Rod, I believe he was more accomplished. So we rightly so, and they rightly so should expect more.
Shane, I'll give Shane the last word in this segment. No, the man walks on water every Thursday for fun. He got some laughs and some thumbs up for that. Kyle's legacy is not in danger.
Yeah, I don't think he's Jesus.
No.
I like him a lot, but I'm not going there.
He's not going to start walking across Lake Michigan or something like that. Whatever lake is near Detroit, I don't even know my Great Lakes. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay with us. Coming up top of the hour, Mike Folta. We'll see if he was listening and responds to that Purdue comment. And Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverine Wire and the host of Lockdown Wolverines, will be here at 8:30. We'll also give away Jazz tickets to see the Mavericks at 8:30. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hanselson and Scotty G.
It's what you want.
Never-ending Story is more compelling than Short Circuit.
No.
Stop it.
No, stop.
Never-ending Story would win a poll against Short Circuit. Guarantee you. I can't even believe I'm putting this poll together. How do you spell circuit?
By the way, I almost hope...
Do what you feel is right, listener.
I almost hope Never-ending Story wins, because if Short Circuit wins, we're going to lose you for the rest of the show. Show memorandum. Let's just euthanize Short Circuit. My guy is as upset as any time I've ever seen him in the history of this show.
Why? Because we speak truth?
No more Short Circuit. Take Johnny Five and put a crowbar to his head. He's done. Disassemble Johnny Five.
No, disassemble.
Catch Hanson Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day, Ellie Goulding. She turns 39 today. Brought to you by Live Nation for all the live concerts and events in 2025. Check out livenation.com. Our question of the morning, is Kyle's legacy at Utah in danger if he pilfers coaches and players? Most of you saying no. Most, it's about the wins. And many of you are commenting on this is just how things are now. And there's a Iowa State fan who is on Twitter who points out 30 days ago Iowa State played at Oklahoma State. And he says since then Oklahoma State's lost 43 players to the portal and Iowa State's lost 42, the two highest counts in the country per 24/7 Sports.
Yeah.
That, PK, is pilfered and decimated. A couple guys going here or there, and it will sting if they're either guys who are super successful or high-profile recruits with a lot of hype coming in. But when I hear decimated, that's the kind of thing I think. But to your point, New Mexico got decimated, and then they went out and won 9 games. So even if you get decimated, you can rebuild on the fly by decimating somebody else.
Right. And that's sad for those programs. I understand that. And if I were a fan, I'd be down right now, but you never really know. I mean, that when the Herm Edwards thing was going down, it was clearly that it was just a matter of time. Guys like Jaden Daniels and the like, they jumped ship. Several guys who went on to the NFL. You really can't blame them in retrospect. It was a blow to the program, and they responded with, I think, their 3 worst seasons consecutively, the worst 3-year run in the history of the program. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever to get out of. Well, it didn't. It took 1 season. And then we know what happened last year. And also, too, okay, I'm the coach and I want to take you. You have to say yes. And if you're so loyal to your institution, maybe you would say no. So it's a two-way street there, right? And so from that perspective, you can't just put the blame or assign all the negative to one person, because the other guys, they have to agree to want to come. And it's, if you offer the coach more money, if you offer the player more money, yeah, what would we do in that situation? I mean, Devin Dampier, just using him as an example, not saying he's going to go, but he's already jumped once. He's a Phoenix guy. He's not a Salt Lake guy. This is not home. Michigan wouldn't be home. But if the money is there, what are you going to do? What are you going to tell them? Don't take it? Who are you? Who am I to tell somebody, yeah, don't take the money? No, money can't buy blah, blah, blah. I'm sick of those lectures, man. Let the individual decide, because it's up to them. It's up to him, up to her. The pitcher from Stanford decided Lubbock, Texas is where I need to be. Why? Because they were going to give her $1 million. And you're going to tell her, no, don't go there. Don't take the money. Come on. How could you possibly say that, man? That's a lot of money for son. I don't know their financial situation with the family, but I know she was a phenomenal pitcher because I saw her play. And yeah, she took them right to the title game. So Texas Tech got their money's worth, and they're going to pay her more to be back this season. And my guess, when the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City is on next May and June, I'm going to be watching that gal pitch again. And so you look at it from that perspective now, because it's not just a lack of loyalty. No, there's a big-time financial incentive to go to these places.
We have realists out there, PK. Here's Michael Crane. I love Facebook. They have people actually use their real names and everything, put their name on what they say. It's amazing. As a Utah fan, I think eventually everybody will look past it when Coach Whit officially retires. But until then, there's going to be some resentment. Unfortunately, that's human nature. I'm not going to be a hater myself.
Yeah, and that's an interesting situation, DJ, because, I've often made fun of, I said the good thing about Jim Mora Jr. taking the Colorado State job is I didn't have to look at his little children with the Ram logo painted on their faces, because he's 60 years old and he doesn't have little children, right? And we see that all the time. We're seeing it with the athletic director at New Mexico, who stayed 1 year, and now he's going to Colorado, and he's got a cute little family, and they are just buffs through and through. Yeah, right. And so we make fun of that. But we thought somebody who had been there for 30 years, he was really a Ute. And now he's going to coach Michigan. Is he really a Ute? Did he just use us for 3 decades? Well, probably not. I think it was more of a circumstantial thing. But the rest of us, from the Ute fan perspective, you are a Ute from the time you can remember to the time you can't remember, right? And nothing gets in the way. It turns out a lot of folks, that's not really the case. Well, the good thing is, it appears, at least for right now, the coach you've got in place is really a Ute, right? What was it? The grandpa played there and all that stuff. He not only has, what is he, mid-40s, 45 years old, whatever Morgan is, somewhere in there. He not only has a 45-year history, he actually has it, historically speaking, way longer than that. And so you thought you had one of your own, which I still think you did. Well, now, without question, you got one of your own. So turn your attention inward and support the program as much as you can, because it really matters now.
Is Kyle Whittingham's legacy at Utah in danger if he pilfers coaches and players? And, man, a lot of people are like, he was pushed out. Take everybody you can. Leave the cupboard bare, Tony says. The problem is he's going to do that to the team down south, too.
Well, he was pushed out down there in the 80s.
Okay. He's got that. He's got that out there. Justin's giving Kyle a lifetime pass to do whatever he wants. Justin, nope. He beat Bama. That's it, man.
He did.
Justin's good. Justin's like, that's what I wanted. I got what I wanted. Do whatever you want, Kyle. You delivered.
That was one of the sweeter wins. From my perspective, I was shuffled off into the radio section of the press box, where
the overflow press box
was openly allowed. Now, they always make an announcement, no cheering, you basically, you can't do anything in a press box that is above your normal voice, right? Not allowed. Well, in that Sugar Bowl in the Superdome, they banished me over into the Homer section, and those Alabama guys, oh my gosh. And I found myself thinking, oh, this is so sweet. I hope the Utes just beat him by 50, beat him by 100, because these Alabama media, and I use the air quotes under media, they were virtually sobbing. And in a perverse way, I was taking enormous pleasure watching that.
All right, DJ PK, when we come back, Mike Folta, Utah Mammoth radio voice, will join us next. Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverine Wire and the host of Locked On Wolverines, will be here at 8:30, and we'll give away the Jazz Maverick tickets at 8:30. We got tickets all day long, every hour, on the half hour. 8:30 and 9:30, we'll give them away. Jake and Ben with tickets at 10:30 and 11:30. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.